Hello and happy Friday, and thanks for tuning in to RadioFreeRhinecliff.org. In this show, correct me if I'm Norm, I'm your host, Norm, and I'm thrilled to welcome tonight Mr. and Mrs. Marco and KT Benevento. Welcome.
Hello.
Thanks for coming here.
Hi, Norm.
Hi, Marco. Hi, Katie.
Hi.
And I asked you earlier, KT, it's in the letter K and the letter T, but it doesn't stand for anything.
No.
How does that happen, that becomes your name?
It happens because you are in school with 3 other people named Katie, and they have to differentiate. So one's Catherine, one's Katie, and then I became KT, so that, you know.
There you go. And so I'm going on the birth certificates. It's Catherine.
Yes.
Okay. There you go. Mm-hmm. And Marco, that's yours. What's your middle name? I hope it's an Italianish middle name.
Oh, it's so Italian.
Is it?
It's Vincent.
Marco Vincent Benevento.
Yeah, I am so Italian sounding my name, but not looking or even.
No.
I don't even know, and I don't barely know any Italian as well.
Wow. And so, and do your folks, either your parents, does your dad speak any Italian?
Yeah, my dad was born in Italy.
Oh.
And came here when he was 15.
And now Benevento it's a town and a county or a region or something in Italy.
It's a town, yeah. But he's not from there. He's from Tricarico, which is not far from there. It's near Potenza. It's a small town. He's from a tiny, tiny town in Italy, Tricarico, in the Basilicata region, sort of in the south-ish central.
Nice. And how did he get to the U.S.?
Airplane.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Clever.
Yeah. No, the whole Benevento clan up and left Tricarico. My dad's father, my nonno, he owned a cafe and a bar, and didn't have much going on, and I still kind of don't know the reason why, but they just moved out of the small town to the United States when he was 15, and he had a brother and 2 sisters.
And where did they all land in the same place?
They all
in the
landed
US?
in Staten Island, and then they moved around a bit, and then wound up in northern New Jersey.
And that's where you're from.
Yeah, that's where I'm from.
And did you live in the same house your whole life in northern New Jersey?
We moved around a little bit. But basically, yeah, I lived in Bergen County.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I lived in Morristown for a spell. Is that near there?
That's not far. Yeah, it's
okay.
an hour.
Yeah, I was in elementary school. I had no idea where anything was.
I was raised in the burbs. 20 minutes outside of the city.
Katie, where are you from?
I am from Michigan.
Whereabouts?
Southwestern corner of Michigan. So right on Lake Michigan.
Okay.
Maybe 20 minutes from the border of Indiana.
I'm doing the mitten hand to see where you are. I love that. The mitten hand, the cape has sort of the making a bicep muscle thing.
Yeah, or Italy, Tricarico is right.
Oh, yeah. Italy showing me on the boot.
The ankle.
That's the ankle. That's so good. Wow, Michigan. And how did you, and somehow you got from there to the East Coast, I'm guessing?
Yeah, I moved around so much. I lived on the West Coast, the East Coast. My little sister went to NYU, and she was Marco's roommate. At the time, I moved out to New York.
Wow. So you were at NYU, is that correct? And
Katie's sister was at NYU.
Oh, she was your roommate.
She was my roommate,
but you were not at NYU.
An apartment in Brooklyn.
Oh, there you go. I was imagining co-ed dorms,
No.
thinking that's kind of progressive. And where was the apartment? How did you end up roommates with Katie's sister?
I know. I was just thinking there's a lot of backstory behind all this.
Well, we still have most of the hour left.
Yeah. Well, so I guess, I met Katie. Are we going there? We're going way back.
You could just skip to how you and Katie met, which I guess Katie came to town.
Katie and I met through friends. We met through just mutual friends.
Was it? You're all of a sudden a little cagey. Was it a kind of a hookup thing?
It was Katie was going out with one of my good friends, and and
I see. So that's the friend who
I don't know. That kind of was a thing, right?
So when you met, the introduction went and this is my girlfriend Katie. You're oh, nice to meet you.
Nice to
Where's
meet
that? Where's that air quote friend now?
No, he's a really good friend still.
Oh, good.
And
that's nice.
Yeah, all is good. All is great.
Yeah.
But
and
anyway, but then But then Katie, I like hung out with Katie in California and met her parents and her sisters. There's like 3 other versions of Katie too.
Wow.
There's Rosie, Emily, and Maggie. And she had a wonderful family, has a wonderful family. I met her parents. They had this awesome house in like Mill Valley. And I met Rosie, her sister, youngest sister. And when we were hanging out in Mill Valley, Rosie was going back to New York, and she didn't have a place to live. And I was like, you could be my roommate in Brooklyn if you wanted to. So that's how that started.
So you met Katie before you met the roommate.
Yeah, absolutely.
Huh.
And then Katie would come to visit, and I'd be like, oh, hey, what's up? How you doing? You want to come stay here, or are you still? I don't know. Anyway, it was kind of like
I love that.
funny little
Marco's making the cutest faces as he describes us. So the romance was brewing and burgeoning and taking off, and at some point, I'm guessing one of you moved to live where the other one was.
Well, I came out and lived in when I came out to New York, my sister moved out actually of Marco's apartment, and her and I got a house together to play music and do our thing, and we'd hang out with Marco all the time. And then when my little sister moved to Oregon and up and left me, that's when I moved in with my boyfriend, Marco Benevento.
And what year was that?
It's like 2004, 5, somewhere around there. The middle 2000s. I was like on the road a lot. I was touring a lot and like in and out. So it was like kind of even hard to. Our relationship was like really weird for the first many years because I was just gone a lot, and it was just like, and she was anyway. So it was, maybe that's why I'm making the cutest face. It's like, I don't know. The beginning was really strange and fun, and weird. Me being gone on the road, and her kind of having a boyfriend, and kind of not. I don't know. It was like a funny little transition there.
So let me just say, for people listening, Marco is, I always describe you as a rock star. And so when he says on the road, he's out playing gigs at amazing places with different bands and your band and stuff. And how many days a year prior to the pandemic were you out on the road?
Like back in like the mid 2000s, early 2000s, we literally did like over 300 shows a year.
You gads.
It's crazy. We were in a Subaru station wagon driving around the country.
No.
Driving myself and Joe Russo, amazing drummer, around. And we had like a Subaru with like the tooly thing on top to like lift up and put stuff in like our bags up top. And we had a Hammoud organ and a Leslie in the station wagon, and a drum set that was like a Russian doll drum set. Like the bass drum opens up.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I've seen those.
It's like, so it all fit in. And
very
we
efficient.
Just hit the road and play music festivals in California, play everywhere we could because we were like 23 or 24 and had nothing.
Right.
We didn't want to be in Brooklyn. I mean, we loved Brooklyn, but we didn't want to just be there. We wanted to be like touring and gigging.
And it was just the two of you and
it was just
Joe Russo?
Joe and I. So it was the Benevento Russo duo. Very catchy name.
Right.
And that's how it all started with me being on the road and performing and stuff.
And you mentioned a Hammond electric organ.
Yeah,
right?
Hammond organ.
Which I think you can make different sort of noises with that. It can sound like a piano or an organ or...
No, Hammond is like it's like an organ. It's like a church organ. It's
wow.
like, 2 manual organ. It has drawbars. It's plugged into a Leslie speaker. The Leslie speaker is a speaker that has these rotating baffles on it to create natural vibrato. So it's like,
cool.
It's really cool. And if you saw a Hammond organ, you'd be like, oh, I've seen that, and you probably... the Leslie speaker is normally right next to it, So
wow.
it goes hand in hand.
I'm not sure I've ever seen a Leslie speaker. That sounds super cool.
Yeah. I'll like send you a picture because it's something it's a classic shot. I'm just trying to think of like an album cover or something that you probably have seen where you've seen the organ.
Huh.
Anyway.
Jimmy Smith.
Yeah, absolutely. Jimmy Smith, Billy Preston.
Right.
So many organ players.
If you heard the B3, you would know.
Ray,
You'd be like,
yeah.
Ray Charles.
Ray Charles, absolutely. I have rockers, like Steve Winwood and, like Deep Purple.
So you're mentioning all these people.
Anyway.
Who were your influences for playing the organ?
Playing the organ? Jimmy Smith's a big one. I liked Tony Williams had a band. Tony Williams is a drummer. He played with Miles Davis. And he had a band with John McLaughlin and Larry Young, the organist. And I really liked him a lot. Larry Young was a big one for me because he like ran the organ into other speakers besides the Leslie, like a Fender Twin.
Okay.
And that makes some distortion, has more reverb, and he would just do some different things to the Hammond organ. And I was like, well, that's what I want to do. I want to like change the sound of this as well.
And so you've, as I understand, you've started doing that. You you put mics up, you run things through, a lot of electronic distortion and
Totally.
massaging of the sound.
Absolutely, yeah. We would go on the road, and I would bring all these different effects pedals to plug the Hammond into. And then eventually I got like a bass rig and plugged the Hammond into a bass rig as well. And I was playing bass lines with my feet. You can also play bass pedals on a Hammond organ. They have like a church organ. They have those bass pedals.
Yeah.
See. So Hammond, I would tour with that too. I'd play foot bass lines, have that running into like a crazy SVT huge bass rig, and then the Hammond into the Leslie and the Fender Twin, and then I had a Wurlitzer. Yeah, I was surrounded. I should send you this picture, like an overhead picture of my rig. It was like crazy, like a Wurlitzer to my right, Hammond right in the center, another weird keyboard to my left, and then all these surrounded by amps, and then all these different effects and stuff. But it first started in the Subaru, in the station wagon with just an organ and a Leslie and a drum set, and then we like ran that to the ground and got a van. So we're like, I can bring more keyboards and then I can get more amps. Then we got like a trailer, and then we got bigger and played bigger venues, and it was like I can get all this. And anyway, so it just really expanded and anyway.
And at some point, did you guys say like, okay, that's enough? We're done with this touring thing?
No, we never said that. And as a matter of fact, Joe and I still play together, but we don't do the Benevento Russo duo as much. We play in a band that's called Joe Russo's Almost Dead, J-Rad, and we play all the music of the Grateful Dead.
Amazing.
He wound up playing with some of the guys from the Dead, and then he's sort of continuing the tradition with that. But
and who was he playing with from the Dead?
Joe toured with Phil Lesh and Bobby, right? And that was called Further. And then that ended, and then Joe sort of was like, I want to play the Dead with like my friends. So he hit up me and a few of our other friends, and we started doing it, and it took off like crazy.
But there's lots of Dead cover bands out there, right?
There are so many of them, I'm sure.
And is Joe the singer for?
No, Joe's the drummer. So it is kind of
Carpenter.
Right. It's just interesting.
They're singing drummers.
He does sing, but it's interesting that the drummer is the band leader because, he's steering the ship and he's the drummer, which, not many bands are led by the drummer.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Gene Krupa.
That's true. I just think Joe
thorn in your side.
Right. There probably are a lot. But, anyway, I think he's a great sort of band leader, great dude to take the reins of everything. I think it's interesting though, because the only thing that the drums have, right? They don't have notes. Yeah. All they have is like speed, like tempo, and like volume. And he really does that really well with J-Rad. Like he'll speed things up a lot, or like get really loud or get really soft.
Right, but different drum. They have different tones anyway. The bass drum.
Yeah. That's true. They do have different tones, but like he's. I feel like he's just really good at like doing all the different dynamics that a drummer can do.
And you said he was the guy with the biggest drum set in all of New Jersey.
Right, when we were playing the other day. When we were playing tennis the other day, Norm, yes, we were talking about Rush.
Rush.
He loved, who he turned me on to back, when I was in 7th grade, because we met actually. That's another story too.
I saw that picture online. The two of you in 7th grade.
So, but yeah, and he did have the biggest drum set in New Jersey, I'm sure, at one point because of Rush, because of his love for Neil.
Because of Rush, that's hilarious. Right. And Katie, you said you and your sister were making music.
We were playing some music. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And what kind of music were y'all making?
We were making whatever kind we could. It was like kind of indie girl rock, I would say. Guitar, drums, bass.
But Katie had before that with her sister, she had a band, and they had an amazing name, and there was all girls, and the name of the band was The Ovulators.
The Ovulators.
Mm-hmm.
And they were so punk rock. They were like, Eugene, Oregon, crazy funky ladies playing just smash punk rock.
And
Katie was playing drums.
do you have recordings of that music?
I have a CD we made.
Oh, that's great. I want to hear that.
Should've brought one of those.
So the kids, I'm guessing, know about your musical pasts, the two of you, and are they musical?
They are.
They are musical.
How old are they?
14 and 12. Almost 15 and 12. Yeah.
Two girls.
Two girls, yeah.
That's amazing. I get two girls. It's the best.
It is
No,
the best.
It really is
I agree.
the best.
Yeah.
I was sad today when they all left the house. I was like, bye, girls. Bye, my girl. Katie and Ruby and Isla just left this morning. And I was like, oh,
For where?
there go my girls.
For where?
Katie went to substitute at the Woodstock Day School, and they went to school at the Woodstock Day School.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So I was just home, like, it's so quiet in here. Where'd they go? No, it is nice to be surrounded.
Then he
by
had a
those
party.
ladies. Yeah.
Yeah.
All my dudes came over, and we started drinking.
Oh, yeah. Sure. No, you went out to play tennis.
Yeah, right?
Right, exactly.
Totally.
But now there's a phrase, tennis widow. Do you ever feel like a tennis widow?
Oh, yeah. I mean, more
Yeah.
so during the last summer, or like right after when quarantine sort of like let up a tiny bit, and all of you guys just like went to play tennis because that's all you could do.
Not me, but
No?
I heard these guys would play on Thursdays.
Oh,
Be
yeah.
like, oh yeah, I played last night, and then yesterday morning I played every day the rest of the week. and-
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I'd be like, oh, tennis. Yeah, it was the little bit of that, like, oh, tennis takes
And do you-
priority over everything else currently.
Well,
Okay.
yeah, I mean, and do you play?
I don't really play. I did start taking lessons with the famous Karen Gill.
I love Karen
and-
Gill.
Yeah, me too. I love
you
her
gotta
too.
get Karen Gill in here.
Karen Gill, who one friend nicknamed her Mean Mommy, because when she was in charge there at the Woodstock Tennis Club, she'd be like, "You didn't pay your guest fee." She was really on it
Right away, yeah.
And
right away.
and some friend called her Mean Mommy, which I just loved as a nickname for her.
So great.
Now I take some lessons with Sean Holtzman.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm just trying to learn how to play tennis.
Nice guy, great player. It's super fun. All my kids grew up playing tennis.
Nice.
Nice.
Yeah, I don't know if any of them play it now, but I didn't play tennis after I graduated high school, and then like 40 years later, I took it up again.
Right.
And it's just
Same here, right?
it's great. It's a wonderful social and sort of athletic kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's
fun.
not too difficult to get a game together. It's just like 4 to 2 people, or whatever. It's easy to do.
Yeah. So at this point, I think I'd like to play one of your songs. We've got 3 songs. Let It Slide, Send It in a Rocket, and which one of those should we play?
Oh, nice. Let It Slide.
All right, good. So here is Let It Slide and who's playing on this?
I'm playing piano and I'm singing. Leon Michaels is playing organ.
Uh-huh.
And Nick Movshun is playing bass and drums.
Okay. Yeah. Here it is.
Let it slide. Just let it slide. I want it to stay and tell you goodnight and drink champagne.
Okay, well that was Let It Slide.
Yeah.
And it was evidently looping.
Yeah.
And it's a great song, but we don't have enough time to play it twice. Now, how do you describe your music? What genre kind of descriptor would you use?
I don't know, but I had a late night hanging out with my band and a guy that was putting us up in Massachusetts, and we were trying to figure out what the name of this sort of style of music is, and he's like, I saw your show. It was really hot. It's like, you got to have that word hot in there. It's got to be like, it's like hot. And everyone was dancing, and he's like, it's like hot dance, and he's like, what would you, what else, what makes your music different than others? I was like, well, there's a piano in it. He's like, yeah, exactly, it's hot dance piano, and it's got to be da 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 da.
So he's like, we need one more word.
We need one more word. And then what else is there? And like Karina is like, well, it's pretty rockin'. He's like, there, hot dance piano rock. It's like, that's what it is. It's hot dance piano rock. And I was like, all right,
that's
perfect.
great. And Karina is your usual bass player,
right? Karina's our bubbly rockin' bass player.
Yeah. And I've seen live performances. They're a party. They're just you,
absolutely.
and you are the party leader.
I like that about a show, and I like that about parties. I like having parties and cooking for people and putting on music for people or playing music for people. Or I like doing that.
And who does the cooking in your house usually?
Both.
We both do, definitely. We both really love cooking.
All right, what are each of your special dishes? Like if somebody was coming over, you really wanted to impress. What would you make?
I just learned how to make a really good pizza that my dad sort of showed me over the pandemic. Actually, I really dialed that in, which is good. And also bronzino. I love making bronzino with like a salt crust.
Yeah.
I love doing that. Pizza and bronzino would be my go-to.
Katie
makes so many different things.
I make so many things. I'm like, I think when somebody comes over and I want to like really entertain them, I think about who they are and what they would be impressed by, and then I find that recipe, no matter how complicated or how many days it might take me to make it, and I figure out how to make it.
That's a treat.
And
I mean, that's
really
loving the craft of cooking right there. And what's the number one thing the kids will eat that either of you make?
They eat a lot. They eat everything we make. But Katie makes really good French fries and a really good burger. So if we have burgers and fries, they love that. I know that sounds like pretty simple, but I don't know.
Homemade fries are pretty special.
Yeah, she doesn't really thin. I don't know. She takes
Take some time. Also the veggie burgers. We make a non-meat burger that's really good. They like that too.
You make the veggie burger yourself?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I would love that recipe.
Yeah.
I would really love that recipe.
I'll send it over.
I used to get a veggie burger at this place when I lived in the city that was nearby. And one of the waiters said, "Oh, you need to get the Scooter burger." I'm like, "What's that?" And that was one of the other waiters named Scooter. Always got the veggie burger with bacon and cheese. Oh, I'm like, "Great, I'll take that." It was so good, and it never felt like a substitute.
Yeah.
And I've been sort of searching for that kind of a veggie burger ever since then.
Right.
Oh well, have you tried Moon Burger?
I have not tried Moonburger.
You will like it.
Oh, it's
here's the problem is I don't want lettuce, tomatoes, onion. I don't want sauce, any sort of sauce on my burger.
Gotcha.
So, like I go to McDonald's and get the quarter pounder with cheese plain. So it's meat, cheese, and bun. Right. So I tried the Burger King had the Impossible Burger, whatever it's called.
Yeah.
And I'm like, can I get the cheeseburger plain? And I got it. And, without the sauce and the stuff, it was just horrible. It was like cardboard.
I think there's cardboard.
Oh, yeah, that would be
burgers.
terrible. That's probably is cardboard at both those places. You can also come over and I'll make it for you.
I would, or maybe, you could share the recipe.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay. All right, well, all this talk of cardboard is making me thirsty. And as is the tradition here, correct me if I'm wrong, the guests have brought a little cocktail for us to enjoy. And in this case, Marco, what'd you bring? What is that?
I brought a wine from the Kingston Wine Store.
Oh,
Kingston
love
Wine
that!
Company.
Love that place.
Michael is our neighbor, the guy who
Is he the young guy that everybody has a crush on?
Who owns it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, everyone has a crush on Michael. I didn't know that.
Oh yeah.
Oh, way to go, Michael. Hope you're listening.
Yeah. Well, supposedly he's married, but
Yeah, he is.
I know lots of
His
and
really
I
nice
only
wife.
know that because some woman I know is like, oh yeah, I really got a crush on him.
It's so funny.
Yeah.
Well, he is really good. I have a crush on him too. I said he was the best neighbor ever. #BNE, and he liked that text because he drops off cases of wine for us because he literally drives by our house to get to his house. We're on like the same road.
The best.
So, and this is a wine from Italy, Cirelli. It's a frizzante wine. It's like a pet nat, which means it's like naturally bubbly.
Okay.
It's not like funky, but it's like I don't know that much about it, but it's somewhere in the process. If you leave it for, I don't know what the story is, but it becomes naturally bubbly somehow.
Right.
So that's what this is. It's a naturally bubbly red wine.
Well, let's pop it open.
Not very sweet.
Marco brought a cigarette lighter to open the
it's not a cigarette lighter.
bottle cap light with
Oh yeah, it's not a cigarette lighter.
it's a Bic lighter.
A joint
I can
lighter.
do it. Oh, there we go.
Did either of you ever smoke cigarettes?
Yeah.
You did.
Yeah, of course.
Heck yeah.
Didn't you? Didn't everybody at one point?
I did. I smoked. Somebody posted last night on Facebook like, oh, I'm like, 7 years smoke free. I'm like, oh, that's great. Congratulations. I'm like, and I counted. I'm like, I'm 17 years smoke free.
Woohoo!
And she said, how long did you smoke for? And then I did the math. I'm like, holy crap, like 25 years or something. Just
Really?
so long. Yeah.
Yeah, Katie.
Terrible
still
habit.
Smokes.
You still do?
Sorry, I'm not supposed to say that, I don't think.
Yeah, my ex smoked, and she would have 10 cigarettes in a weekend and then nothing for months. And I was always, as they say, a puff away from a pack a day. Like I couldn't control myself. I was like, oh great, I started smoking and I'd buy a carton.
Right. I liked smoking, and when I smoked, I didn't mind that I smoked. I was okay with it. I liked it, and then I just stopped.
Well, once again, the conversation is making me thirsty.
Yes.
I'd like to invite you to pour.
I'm gonna pour
this wine that
okay.
you.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah, it looks so good.
It would go well with a cigarette.
It's called Wines of Anarchy.
Oh yeah, we love the label too.
The Wines of Anarchy.
Yeah, look at
Yeah.
this.
That's great. Love that. Thank you, Katie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're
All right.
welcome. Well,
Good.
cheers.
So,
Thanks for having us on.
while Marco's pouring, have you guys ever performed together, Katie and Marco?
Not
as
No, not really. We have performed, like, my band has opened for him
Right.
maybe way back in the day, and we play music and jam out a little bit in our studio and at home, and I did manage to get into another show that he was a part of, so
Wow.
we're both in the same show, but not really.
That's so cool, though.
It's cool. Yeah, I'm not really a performer. I'm more of like a secret by myself.
Well,
Secret musician.
you're standing on stage, and what you have an instrument, I'm guessing.
Sometimes.
What instrument would that be?
I mean the drums or the guitar. But that was a long time ago, actually. Like,
Right.
I haven't performed with any of that. Maybe 5 years ago, I did at my friend's wedding.
Nice.
That was full of like professional musicians and artists and the like. And I got up there to play them a song, and I got so nervous. Like, it was almost an out of body experience of how nervous that made me. And I haven't played with an instrument since. In
So it
front
was
of people.
unpleasant to be that
unpleasant.
nervous.
Well, yeah, but I mean, if we have people over and we are having a bunch of wine, and Katie's got the guitar in her hand singing songs all night long in front of 10 people.
Oh, yeah, watch out.
And before, great, did you bring the guitar here? Before you go on stage, Marco, do you get nervous?
No, I get excited. No.
Yeah.
I don't get
Okay.
nervous.
Well, cheers. Here's to it.
Cheers.
I'm going to just cheers and then dig into this wine.
Cheers.
Can I see the bottle?
Absolutely.
Did I get everybody? Wines of Anarchy, an organic wine. Francesco Cirelli, Italy. Wow. Cirelli.
It's like just a delicious, bubbly, dry, like all day kind of wine, right? I mean, obviously you can't drink it all day. It might not be stinky,
I have.
But
You have. Great. Great. Win the nominations for Mom of the Year.
Right.
We'll go
I'll be
out.
the
Yeah.
winner.
Yeah. That's That's great. And so were the kids born here? Were they born, you moved here from the city, right?
Yeah, we lived in Brooklyn for a while. Ruby was born in Manhattan in a hospital, and Isla was born in our apartment in Brooklyn in a birthing tub.
Really?
Yeah.
Cool.
It was so cool.
Like a blow-up
Tub
Yep.
that we had for a week in there or more, 10 days or something, just, getting ready. And
I'm guessing you had like a doula and
Yeah.
a midwife
Yep.
and stuff. Was there a physician on call or?
Nope.
No.
There was a pizza guy on call
A pizza guy.
because we had
To
ordered
deliver a pizza.
to deliver a
nothing else.
pizza. It was this weird timing where like Katie, we like called the midwife to come, and we also were like starving because we were like walking around all day. We couldn't like cook or whatever. We like ordered a pizza also at the same time, and like Katie was like really like, oh my, like this is happening now. We're like waiting for the buzzer to buzz, and it like buzzes. We're like, yeah, come on. And he's like, pizza, and I was like, no, we want the doula or the midwife. And then like 5 minutes later, the doula was buzzed in, and we're like, oh my god, we done. Anyway, it was just a funny moment of like,
I
where's
don't
the
remember
lady?
this at all.
Where's the lady?
You don't?
And the guy just like,
I was like having a baby. I'm like, oh, this happened like this.
And so I'm guessing it was natural or no drugs
Yeah,
involved?
natural.
Amazing.
what was amazing about it, I mean, it was just amazing, of course, just giving birth in your apartment. But, it was Ruby, Isla, and I'm sorry, Ruby, Katie, and myself. And then all of a sudden, in the apartment, we had 4. There were 4 of us. You know what I mean? Like, now we have our younger sister. And then everybody left, and then we went to bed, and we're like, well, okay, now there's 4 of us. You know what I mean? It just happened so quick.
Egad,
You're
so
like, we're just like mom and dad, and then 1 daughter, and now it's mom and dad and 2 daughters, and we didn't have to like transfer from a hospital or like deal with the blah blah blah. It was really, really, really cool to experience that.
so you got a slice of pizza before Alan was born, I'm guessing.
Not before.
No.
Right after,
Really?
it was like, let's eat.
So it was that close. Like the doula
was-
got there and the baby came out.
It
The
was-
midwife was like, hold that baby until I get there. And I was like, oh my God, what?
yeah.
Spectacular. And so the baby comes out underwater in the birthing tub.
And then she she got up, and she wasn't crying at all. And I remember I was like, why isn't she crying? Like, what's wrong? And the midwife was like, why would she be? She's at her home with her mom, and in her
That's
arms
kind of
in water.
kind of a beautiful
And
thought.
I'm like, are you sure? Is she like, should we do we have to like do stuff? And
Right.
she's like, no, you're good.
Amazing. So
So cool.
Really amazing.
And she's still all good. She's 12 now.
the best.
Yeah.
Yeah, my son was born in a birthing tub right here in Rhinebeck at the New Garden Birthing Center.
Awesome.
And, he was our 3rd child. And so I'd seen this happen a couple times before. And, the contractions were getting pretty bad. And like a nurse came in, said, okay, your warm tub is ready now. And of course, I'm not involved in it, but I thought, that's just the ticket. That's got to be the best thing to hear. So she slipped in the tub, and Mossy came out underwater, and I'm freaking out. I'm like, the baby's underwater. I was like, okay, they've done this thousands of times before.
Oh my gosh, you've got to see. I watched this video in preparation called Russian Water Births, and it's literally these women swimming in the ocean, having their babies like a whale or a dolphin, you got to think. And the babies just float out, and they're just floating around. And the mom swims over, and it's the weirdest thing you've ever seen.
It's like that Nirvana album cover.
Yeah, kind of like that.
Did you see this? The guy who was the baby on
Yeah.
the cover of In Utero was suing the photographer and every band member
Yeah, I saw that.
and Courtney Love or something for child abuse or something. Or for child pornography.
I saw that, and then it just got dropped somehow, or what happened in the end? I feel
I'm not sure. It was just,
I saw that. I was like, oh god,
it's too much.
what's going on here?
All right, well, listen, one of the things I wanted to play was this song of yours called Gaffiano No. 3.
Yeah, it's just an improvisation, actually.
And what's a Gaffiano?
Gaffiano is a piano with gaff tape on it, and it was it was named by the guys in the studio, the engineers in the studio, because I didn't tell them I was doing it. We were recording, and then we took another take, and in between time, I like put gaff tape on the piano because I was like, I don't like the way the piano sounds. It needs to be more muted or something.
So you put it on the strings.
I put gaff tape on the strings, yeah, and played it, and it sounded almost like a Japanese instrument or like a harp or something. I don't know. It changed the sound of the piano.
What made you think to put this gaff tape on there?
Well, in live shows I've been doing, I play an upright piano, and I could actually with the lid off, and I could reach into the piano with my left hand and mute some of the strings while I'm playing, but obviously I only get the length of my hand, or I have to sort of follow my right hand as I go because otherwise not all the strings will sound muted. But with gaff tape, you could just put it on the strings and it covers that whole range.
All right, cool.
So I was like, I can just get that muted sound with gaff tape, and I just did it. And they're like, what'd you do to the piano? I was like, I put gaff tape on it. They're like, what do you call that? I was like, I don't know, gaff tape on a piano. They're like, a Gaffiano.
Gaffiano.
So, yeah, it's called a Gaffiano now.
It's a Gaffiano.
So the engineers and the guys there were like, just play, Keith Jarrett meets Sun Ra. Just go ahead, improvise.
Keith Jarrett meets Sun Ra.
Or they would just lay out a bunch of names of piano players, and I would just sort of improvise these weird little things, and they would put tape delay and reverb and all sorts of stuff on the piano, and it sounded cool.
So here it is for everybody listening home, Gaffiano number 3. I love that so much.
Thanks.
And cool. I heard that for the first time a few days ago, and it immediately made me think of John Cage, who did this prepared piano thing. You aware of this? I'm
aware of it.
Yeah.
But I haven't even checked it out.
So he at some point he decided he wanted to bring chance into things, and so he basically threw a bunch of metal junk onto the piano, into the piano, and called it a prepared piano, and so I was thinking that because I saw you perform the John Cage concert a couple of years ago, the 433, and it was so. In the Cage piece 433, the musicians don't play for 4 minutes and 33 seconds, but then you played like 20 minutes of your stuff at the end, and it was so amazing. And I'd heard your music, I'd seen some live stuff, but I was not prepared for the piano acrobatics, and it made me think of something I'd read years ago. Some other pianist was described as the Bruce Lee of the piano, and it's like, wow, he is the Bruce Lee of the piano, and it's so good. And people just really, I'm going to read this now. CBS Radio dubbed you one of the most talented keys players of our time. Wow. You aware of this today?
No.
Oh, please tell me I tracked down something online you never saw.
That's amazing.
I'll send you. I'll send you a link.
Trying to see your notes. He's like, really? Do they really?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, and it's and I love your piano playing.
Thanks.
Just so much, and in the live performance there seems to be a ton of it.
Yeah.
And in the recorded music, not nearly as much. Mm-hmm. Is that by design?
No, I don't know. It's a good question. The first couple of records I made are instrumental, and there's no singing, and there's more piano playing on the first 4 records that I made, and there's some more digging in some of those records. The last 5 years or so, I've been making records where I've been singing, and the piano solos sort of got cut. For no reason, I just liked getting into the songwriting element of singing and writing lyrics and verse chorus kind of thing versus almost like a jazz approach, which is, play the melody and then solo over the form kind of thing, which is what I do in my first records, actually. So there is some more piano playing in some of the earlier records, but if you were to check out some of my later records, there's more singing and songwriting and producing sort of elements. But in our live show, there's a lot of improvisation and some long-winded piano moments for sure,
which I love to bits. And in the Dead cover band, seems like you have a lot more opportunities to do that.
Yeah, Joe Russo also kind of like fades out the band a lot of times and just has me go off on a solo piano sort of tangent in front of thousands of people. And I'm like, what should I do? He's like, you're Marco Benevento. You can do whatever you want. I'm like, I love you, Joe. You're the best. He's like,
do you tell him that every morning, Katie?
Every morning.
Every morning. Dude, today, Tuesday, you're Marco Benevento. You can do whatever you want.
Well, you gotta remember that.
That's great. Well, it's working out.
It's working out.
I
so
guess.
Far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how's the pandemic been? I mean, you're a live performer. I'm guessing that's sort of the bulk of your income.
It was definitely weird. It was definitely all of a sudden the gray cloud just moved into the room here. No, I mean it.
Oh yeah, we can talk
No
about
way.
something else.
No
way.
No, I don't mind talking about it, but it's like it's definitely like a thing where it was like, whoa, all that's gone, all the shows, all the venues, all the people. What did we do? And we did the best we could. We made lemonade.
Right.
I took videos of myself at the piano playing music. Then I sent it to Karina, and then she added a bass track. And I sent it to my drummer, and he added a drum track. And we would put these videos together and put out these little snippets of us performing remotely together. And
Love that. That's a great idea.
There'd be like these weird little remote festivals that we were on. It was so weird.
Remote festivals.
You know what I mean?
Where people had to buy to get the Zoom login info.
Yeah, you submit your mixed and video mastered everything that you put together, 20 minutes of 3 or 4 songs, and then a festival name takes your video and lines it all up in a Zoom link or whatever. Yeah,
right.
Kind of weird.
So was it a fertile time creatively?
Actually, it was. I gotta say, because we're living in paradise.
Seems like lots of artists kind of found that.
Yeah,
They're like, oh, great, I got to stay inside my studio or not see anybody for a year and a half.
Oh, this is kind of awesome. I mean, because I was already dialed in. We were living here for 10 years. We've been living here for 10 years.
Right.
Studio's running. We got unemployment, and we got the PPP loan for our business, so it wasn't that difficult. I mean, it was weird. I mean, they were I was thinking today, Katie, that remember you would go on Epic Adams runs, and we would go shopping once every 10 days or 12 days.
Buy bulk, buy
bulk.
A ton of stuff.
And we had 2 refrigerators full and
most
surplus
Italians.
downstairs, and yeah, exactly. But so we were trying not to spend a bunch of money. We even didn't eat meat for the whole pandemic, for the whole first year.
Wow.
Because that's a big expense.
Right.
And it's also just for the environment. It's better to not eat meat. So we didn't eat meat for that whole first year.
Right.
And then we had meat after that year. We're like, oh, this is so good. We missed it so much.
Steak au poivre.
We were like, I can't believe we ate meat every night. Yeah, we're like, why do we eat meat? We had it wasn't a meal until it was rice, broccoli, and steak or chicken or tuna or something, And
Now, chicken, you just brought me a dozen eggs. Thank you so much.
Oh,
you all have chickens at your ranch over there on Fred Short Road. Yeah. But you have other animals too. What do you have?
We have got 2 goats.
Names?
Brownie and Blackie. We also have got 7 peacocks.
6.
Oh, 6 peacocks.
The fox ate one.
No, I think he got sick.
She
got sick.
She. Wow.
Yeah.
Lorraine, yeah.
And the females, I'm kind of guessing, they don't have the colorful tail.
Exactly.
It's the males peacocking around.
Yeah, they're peacocking around.
What's the mix of female to male?
Now it's 5 males and 1 lady. So we're going to see how the spring turns out.
Pretty good odds for the lady.
Yeah.
And they lay eggs.
They lay enormous eggs.
Males are fighting over who gets to fertilize the
They're generally no, but there's every once in a while you'll see like one peacock running after another, and you're like, ooh, like just leave them alone, man.
And
But
do they all have names?
There's definitely a pecking order. One of our peacocks has a name.
the first one we got, who's the oldest one?
And is he
Yeah, it's George McFly.
George McFly?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Related to Marty McFly?
Marty, actually, one of
Marty.
them's named Marty, but I don't know which one it is. I can't tell.
Now they all look alike.
Yeah,
big.
I was wondering if you could tell them apart. I
I
mean,
can tell George from everyone else because he lets me pet him, and he doesn't fly away when I come in to feed them. Because he's like, oh, I've known you since I got him when he was like 2 days old.
so they have a house where they sleep. I'm guessing it's heated.
It's a peacock palace. It is not
Peacock
heated.
palace.
Marco built it himself. My piano playing husband just comes home one day with some wood and some hardware, and he's like, "I'm gonna build." And I was just thinking,
built
like,
a
what, I'm
giant-
like, what do you
They
know?
built a giant
You know
outside
about
bird
that?
cage for like 6 peacocks. It's enormous.
And
And they're like turkeys. They could survive in the winter. They don't need heat. Although I like feel bad for them every once in a while. I'll put like a little heat thing, but they don't need. They like burn their
but
tail
it
on it.
wouldn't
I
be.
was like,
Oh, burn their tail.
yeah, I'm like, what am I
Yeah, it
doing?
has burned their
They're
tail.
So
they're
do the-
fine. Just leave them alone.
Do the feathers fall off?
They do.
naturally?
Every year.
When?
We should have brought
The
more
fall
of
in the fall time.
In the fall.
Yeah.
And what do you do with those?
We
Well,
collect
we collect them, and I sell jewelry and make some even like Marco sort of jewelry, piano key necklaces, and other kind of merchandise. And so I
Right.
will send a peacock feather in that packaging as sort of a good luck charm.
Oh, I love that.
To the customer.
And I love your jewelry. I saw it on your website, which is the letter K, the letter T, Benevento.com.
Yep.
And you make beautiful jewelry. I really liked the rings, and you also make T-shirts, which you brought me one. I can't wait to see it. And
Yeah.
and as I mentioned, a dozen eggs.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So for your creative pursuits, Katie, was how have the last couple of years been?
Kind of great because we've been home a lot more. I'm used to being home without Marco around as much, right? Because he wasn't on tour, so there were 2 parents at home. There's
love
a
that.
lot of time there's only one parent at home, so that I felt like we figured out a balance where there was a lot of time for each of us to like get the work done we needed to get done, while also the kids were being looked after and hung out with and entertained. They're also 12 and 14, so they also don't need the kind of attention,
That they
a
once
3 and a
had.
5-year-old need. But
Right. What a treat. I imagine them just growing up to be like the coolest kids ever.
they're pretty cool.
Yeah. And and what are they interested in?
Music,
yeah.
art,
Love that.
fashion,
Ruby really loves movies and actresses and actors
and acting.
acting. She even took like a couple Zoom lessons with our friend.
Zoom lessons with an actor friend.
Yep.
Yeah.
Love that. Who's your actor friend?
Lola Kirk. She's in.
I really wanted you to say Bobby De Niro or something.
yeah.
Sorry.
Mozart in the Jungle? No.
Oh, Mozart. She's in Mozart in the Jungle, and
She's also a musician, so it was good.
Yeah.
Ruby is a really good piano player. Both of them are, and so
That's
yeah.
g-
It's been really kind of good. I think like going through 7th grade and 9th grade, 6th and 8th grade in a pandemic when you're just stuck at home with your parents and you're not around maybe all that drama that school can create sometimes was actually
sure.
really good.
Especially
Was
for teens and preteens.
fantastic for
Maybe. I
preteen
don't know.
girls
We're
to be
about to
at
find
home
out.
with us. I thought it was amazing.
That's amazing. And what kind of piano do you have at home?
I have
So many.
so many, but
I mean, just in the house,
just
not in your
the-
studio.
right? Just in the house is the one that the same piano that I had when I was a kid. The same piano I grew up learning how
So
to
it
play.
came here from New Jersey.
Yeah, basically, yeah, and
It's an upright,
it's
or
a giant old upright, and it's from like 1901,
wow.
and it's gorgeous. I love it.
What make? What brand?
I forget. It's like
Some
some
worn off by now.
Well,
yeah.
it's there. It's really well made.
It's
I'll
like
think about it.
it's not some big name like Steinway or Yamaha or Baldwin, or it's like some other smaller
Right.
Off name.
Now, you went to college, to the Berkeley School of Music. Is that what it's called up there in Boston? Which is
Berkeley College of Music in
which
Boston.
is one of the most prestigious music schools in the country, I think, if not the.
I don't know. It had everything that I wanted to do. It had like film scoring, it had music production and engineering, it had performance, it had all these majors. I was like, I want to major in all of this. Like, I want to go here.
That's the best.
You know, it was like songwriting, and then I actually started doing film scoring when I went. And
Fun.
then I was like, I don't want to be in a room analyzing what song should be made here for the scene. I want to like do it in front of people because
Want to make people dance.
You can't edit your mistakes live. You just got to know how to do it. You know.
Yeah.
I was like, that's the hardest thing.
So you were there 4 years.
I was there 4 years.
You
yeah.
graduated. I'm guessing.
Yeah, I graduated.
Did you get a diploma?
I did. David Bowie gave it to me.
What?
Yeah. No joke.
Wayne Shorter and David Bowie were were the two guys speaking at the 1999 graduation at Berkeley
And
College.
do you remember anything they said?
No.
No.
But it's online, and I watched it again, which was really weird to watch again because it seemed like so long. Because I don't think I slept the night before. I mean, I was graduating from college, so
No, you're graduating from like music college.
yeah,
Nobody slept the night before.
I don't remember what happened that day, and I thought I was there forever. But like the speech was like, I don't know, 25 minutes.
David Bowie talking.
Yeah. Oh, it was
and Wayne
so
Shorter.
funny. Yeah, and Wayne Shorter. I was just like, when he was speaking, it was like all of a sudden we were in outer space, and like planets were going by, and like he was so out there. It was amazing. And then Bowie was like making everybody laugh and like doing like this a lot, being like, oh, the horns. Like, I don't know what he was doing. It was crazy.
No,
I felt like maybe. Was that really real? Did that really happen? But like, it is on YouTube.
But it's on
and
tape.
I did
There it
watch
is.
it, and I was like, okay, right.
Right. And so when they called your name, Marco Benevento, one of the first names called, I'm guessing, up there at the front of the alphabet, David fucking Bowie handed you your diploma.
Yeah, there's a picture of that on that piano. I was just talking about just him
Is
handing
there?
me the diploma with Wayne Shorter in the background.
That's so cool.
And at that time, I was way more into Wayne Shorter than David Bowie because I was more of a jazzer graduating from. So I was like, David Bowie, yeah.
No.
Yeah, I swear. And like, obviously over the last, 15 years or so, I've gotten way more into.
And Bowie spent a lot of time in Woodstock. Did you see him around Woodstock?
No, but
I did.
You did?
Oh yeah, when I taught at the day school, his daughter
right.
came to the summer camp, and then he came, and Iman would come, and I'm like, who is this lady? And I'm like, who is this guy with this? David Bowie had on like a golf hat and like a blazer. He looked like not like David Bowie. What you would think he would look.
Yeah, I saw him a couple of times, and he looked, he sort of blended in. But Iman, good luck blending in.
Yes, she does not blend in.
She's ridiculously gorgeous. Now one of your jewelry pieces is named Iman, and it's gorgeous. It's so beautiful. I saw that in your website. I'm like, oh, I want that. I saw the price. I'm like, yeah, soon, someday soon. Was it named after her?
Yeah, I mean, I name everything after ladies, amazing ladies.
Okay, who's Billie? Please tell me that's Billie Jean King.
Oh, sure, yes, it is. Of course.
No, really?
I think it's probably Billie Eilish.
Okay, so that sort of dates it as a newer thing.
Yeah.
I'm looking for my notes here.
It's really whoever at that moment, whatever like lady is really like affecting my inspiration, or I'm thinking about, and the piece itself, and then it just
Nice. And there's Leslie. Who's that?
That's my friend Leslie Helpert.
Wonderful. And Ren.
Ren is actually someone that I don't know, or someone that is not. Actually, now I don't know. I just blanked.
I love that. Like you notice this. I like have seen Katie's website a million times, and I'm married to Katie. I didn't even pick up on any of this.
Oh, for crying out loud! Well, can you describe the Iman for people, because it's really super gorgeous,
wonderfully cut piece of Kingsman turquoise. A really big,
it's a special, beautiful piece of turquoise.
Really, really dark, deep turquoise color. A very big piece of it, and it is set in gold, and it's just really beautiful and big, like her.
And it's available for still.
Yeah, I believe it is. Yeah.
That's just fabulous. All right, well, let's see. I've got a couple of questions here. Is there anything I missed? Tell me something. I get a question from Marco. This is one of my notes. Who would be a dream collaborator for you musically? And I guess I can ask you the same question, Katie. I'm sorry I didn't even know you were a musician before just now tonight here. Who are your dream collaborators?
I know it's such a crazy question because I feel like I have to like collaborate with someone that I know. You know, if I was to
No,
pick.
it's a dream. It can be. I was gonna say like Hank Williams. Like that's not gonna happen. That's like a dream.
Yeah, Hank Williams, and you could say Hank Williams Jr.
Right, Hank Williams Jr. I guess would be mine. Anyway.
All right, well, mull it over. If you come up with an answer, let me know.
Wait, what about yours? Is yours Hank Williams?
I mean, I was like, really thinking about it. Like, I never
But you know, if that's the first thing that pops into your head,
I thought Paul McCartney for some
there
reason.
you go.
I was
There's
like, I think Paul McCartney would be great. But then I was like, no, wait, there's. Wow, jeez, he's the man.
He is pretty cool.
Yeah.
yeah. Well,
like
Hank Williams too,
Yeah.
and the older stuff, Luke the Drifter. That was like one of his other a name he performed under.
Yep.
All right. Here's a good question. You live on. Actually, forget about that. Who was Fred Short?
Fred Short was not the story that I made up about Fred Short.
Oh no! Because I saw the story online. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. I'm gonna ask him about that.
I made up this whole story about this Fred Short. You know, the road we live on in Woodstock, and I was like, yeah, he was like the shaman who had like ayahuasca ceremonies, and he was related to like Native American tribe. I don't know. I just like made up this whole story about this like American Indian. I don't know about Fred Short. About this dude, and I've been telling it across the country on interviews and stuff, and then I did it. I told the story on WDST in Woodstock, and it went home, and there was like an email. It was like from like Ann Short or something, and she was like, I'm Fred Short's great granddaughter, and he was not a piano playing, ayahuasca taking shaman like you mentioned. He was just a blue stone layer that
was going to be my guess.
Area and was very humble, was not musical. The only musical person in the Short family is myself, actually. And then she wrote, I actually really love your music and have seen you play a couple times. And she works for Safeco now.
Nice.
And I called to pay my bill recently, and she told me all these stories about Fred Short and sent me a picture of him with his cow, like this like crazy old photo that looks like a crazy like flash
right
from 18 something photo, an old photo, and I'm like, this is so cool.
Love that. And you're over there by Opus 40. Did he work on that at all?
I don't think so. I feel like she would have told me about that. No.
All right. Well, guess what? Happens every time. We're out of time.
How did that happen?
I don't know,
That's
but
so
thank
weird.
you so much. Thanks for bringing the Wines of Anarchy.
Oh, yeah.
Bubbly
Thanks.
one. It was really delightful. Thanks, Katie Benevento and Marco Benevento, and thanks, Matt. Rosenberg, our host and engineer, and Patricia Wind here at the corner store, the Epicurean, for allowing us to be here in the Nook. And this has been Correct Me If I'm Norm. Have a wonderful Friday night.
Thanks, Norm.